whatever you want to talk about, you can bring it up too. We are live. What is up, everybody? It's my friend over here, Locked On Magic. Um, we're here to talk about the Magic draft, the Magic free agency, what they can do, what's left, who's going to come back, who's not going to come back. There are people. Also, Gary Harris now has signed, so we know he's not coming back. So we can write that off, and then I'm pretty happy about that. I want to just take. What did you think about that? Him going to the Bucks.
I was surprised he got a 2-year deal, to be honest. Again, I always think fans have different priorities than teams do when they evaluate players. And I would argue, I was a Gary Harris defender. I would argue with people look, Gary is out there for his defense. He's not going to get in the way. The fact that he doesn't take shots is a feature, not a bug. Yeah. I agree they needed someone who would take more shots. I agree that it was time to kind of let go of Gary Harris, but people are like, why is Gary playing ahead of Jett? It's just because Gary can defend. Gary's not going to make mistakes. He's going to help the team win. And he's still that kind of player. So getting him on, I think it was essentially the minimum in Milwaukee, especially with everything that happened with Milwaukee today, is a good get for the Bucks. I think he'll fit in really, really nicely there coming off the bench. He needs to be on winning teams. He's that kind of player. But I do agree the Magic had outgrown him and they needed something else from that spot. And one of my goals for the Magic this summer was to upgrade the Gary Harris spot. That is still something they need to do.
Yeah, and you know what? It's funny. I was just looking, I was rewatching our stream just to see how close we were, and you were spot on with the Jace Richardson thing. And I thought that was a good pick at 25. I didn't know if he would drop that much. I'm happy he did. He is undersized. The only thing I don't like about him, but I think the Magic, obviously us getting more 3-point shooting is always good. And his dad played here, and I think he's a pretty good player. So I was pretty happy with the Jace Richardson pick, and I'm assuming you are as well.
Yeah, I really like him. I think he has a lot of the skills the Magic are looking for. He's going to compete. And again, when you're looking at smaller players, all you can ask for is that they're going to compete. And whatever shortcomings they may have physically, they will maybe not make up all of it, but they'll make back some of it with effort. And that's, we'll talk about Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones is very much that quality too.
Tyus Jones,
where they may not be the best defenders, but they're going to put up a fight, and that allows your defense to adjust and cover for them or help them out when they get beat. Look, Jase says every offense is still the Magic need. Obviously, the size is a big concern on both ends of the floor. It's not just defense. Yeah. He's going to have to develop his right hand. That's a big thing as well. But put him in spot up opportunities. He's going to make shots. He's going to attack closeouts. He's going to finish efficiently at the rim. This is a guy that plays hard. I had a conversation with Matt Sheehan of Locked On Spartans. That episode will be coming out later this week. I'm kind of letting free agency die.
Locked On Spartan. I didn't know that.
There's a Locked On for everybody.
I know, but I didn't know that it went to that level.
No. We got
college sports has Locked On stuff.
There's Locked On Gators guy is pretty solid. I think there's still a Locked On Seminoles. There's definitely a Locked On Canes. There's Locked On SEC. There's Locked On Big 12. There is a Locked On Knights for my UCF fans.
How does it work to get the Locked On logo? How did you?
We're part of a network. It's everyone.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, it started in the NBA. The guy who founded it is the broadcaster for the Jazz. It started in the NBA, and it's grown to. We have MLB shows, we have NFL shows, we have college shows, we have NHL shows. There's Locked On Women's Basketball if you want to cover the WNBA. If there's a team, you can find your Locked On podcast. It's not just Locked On Magic's great. Listen to us.
Yeah.
Locked On Lightning. Locked On Bucks. Buccaneers.
And do you guys ever you guys talk to each other? You do podcasts and things like that.
We do the squad shows every week.
Yeah.
Where we all get together and talk.
What is your thoughts on the Miami Heat? I'm just curious because they're the team.
Miami, it just feels like Miami has let their opportunity pass them by. Mm-hmm. They kind of just. The story always goes that when Pat Riley got into a room with someone, he'd wear all of his championship rings, and I mean all of them, or put them down on the table, and that would just impress people into signing with Miami. And they were always very targeted and specific about who they wanted.
Right.
And that isn't working anymore. Free agent, you don't get players in free agency anymore. The biggest free agent this offseason ended up being Miles Turner. in that shocking move. But the biggest free agent on day one was Nickeil Alexander-Walker. That's like not a big free agency name.
That was the guy we thought we might get, which
but like the way you get players now is trades.
Mhm.
And the Heat have been too precious with their players and too precious with their guys. And they've let the clock run out on them. Like they weren't willing to do what it took to get Damian Lillard. They weren't willing to do what it took to get Kevin Durant. They kind of held their nose at trying to, doing the, like, look at what the Magic did. The Magic went for it. They said, we need a shooting guard who is an efficient 3-point shooter, can create off the dribble, make passes, and and not be a negative defensively. They looked at all the options. It's like Anthony Simons, that doesn't check off. Colin Sexton, that doesn't check off. They found Desmond Bane, and whatever that cost might have been, they might have been haggling over a first-round pick, but at the end of the day, they said, we got to do this. Like, this is our guy. This is the opportunity. We've got to do this, and they did it. The Heat have had 2 or 3 of those opportunities over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And they passed on every single one. In this environment of the NBA, when that window opens, you got to do it. And the Magic clearly see the window open, and they did it.
And they did it. And they traded draft capital, but they don't really need that capital at this moment. No. So, but like,
and you can always get it back. Like, that's the thing. That's the thing people don't realize is like, when the Magic get to, like, they're going to get to second apron hell, and they're going to have to make some financial decisions that are going to suck. When they trade Desmond Bane or Jalen Suggs or whoever else, they're going to get first-round picks back. Like, they will get those picks back, and they'll probably go to Memphis and say, hey, let's swap some of our firsts. We have Houston's firsts. You want Houston's firsts? We'll give you all of them just to get our pick back in this draft. Like,
I agree.
You can get those back. It's not, they're nothing.
Miami Heat is always a big rival for the Magic.
And
we play them multiple times, and their fans can be kind of obnoxious at times. But I also wanted to take what you think about Locked On Heat. Is he a cool person? Have you?
I love the Locked On Heat guys. Wes and David are 2 of the best on our network. They do an amazing job. Yeah, they do 2 hosts on that one. Wes Goldberg and David Ramil, both awesome guys. Like good friends among the Locked On network. Our teams may hate each other. We do not hate each other. We like each other a lot. But it's, they like, I mean, the difference is the Heat are always playing for a championship. Their fans expect them to play for a championship. And like, they're stuck in the play-in like windmill now. And look, Miami's still an interesting team. Like Bam Adebayo is a really good player. Tyler Hero is a really good player. They got some guys. They're good enough to be in the playoffs. They should be in the playoffs. But they're not a championship level team. And the last
I think they're more a play-in team than playoff. I just feel like
I'd agree with that. They're missing the one guy that ties the room together.
Yeah.
And it was Jimmy Butler, but Jimmy didn't care until the playoffs, and that's why we're always a lower seed. They need the one guy to tie the room together, and they don't have that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. But going back to the draft just a second. So in the second round, we took Noah Penda. We traded a lot of second-round capital, which I'm okay with because second-round capital is not that much. And this guy is a first-round talent.
Yes.
I didn't know much about him at the time, so I'll be honest, my initial reaction, I wasn't happy. But after looking at it, I do like his game a little more. But, he's an international player, so it's always hard to gauge like how good they are. What was your thoughts on the Noah Penda pick?
Yeah, the way we've just come to expect the Magic to deal with the second round is to not care. And I think a lot of us thought like maybe the Magic wouldn't use the roster spot and kind of commit the roster spot to it. But I am generally a big believer of if you have your guy, go get him. Like Memphis spent 2 of the first round picks the Magic gave them to go get Cedric Howard.
Yeah.
He is their guy. You look at the team they're building, he is their guy. They went and got him. The Magic did that with Noah Penda. And I kind of took him off my board because he wasn't much of a 3-point shooter, but he is a clear first-round talent. He's a clear player who fits the Magic's identity. He had something like by some like statistics and estimates, was like a 29% defensive field goal percentage for Le Mans this summer or this season. He is an excellent defender, or potentially excellent defender. He's going to have to find his fit in the NBA. He's going to have to find his offense. He's really rudimentary on offense, but there's a lot to like in him. And for a second round pick, if you get anything out of a second round pick, you're doing fine. I think the Magic see something that fits their eye. And, I don't think people are necessarily wrong to surmise and predict that he is kind of a Jonathan Isaac in waiting.
Yes.
And that he, I've even hinted at this. Like I said, I thought the Magic should have been going after Rasheer Fleming, who went to pick before.
Yeah, that's who I thought they would go for.
He was a player that I thought gave the Magic some permission to trade Jonathan Isaac, because then you have a versatile 4 who can defend the perimeter, defend the rim, do all those defensive things. Noah Penda does that, just not yet. And so I think all of us kind of start seeing the writing on the wall and how this Magic team is going to evolve. Yeah. That feels like a direction they're going in. So I like this pick. And again, we'll see what he looks like in Summer League. We'll get to know his game a little bit better. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot to like in him.
Yeah, no, I agree. I did want Walton Clayton Jr. and I think Philip also wanted him, but it was just he was taken before us, and there was nothing to do.
I had Walter Clayton above Jace Richardson on my board. If you had asked me to pick between Walter Clayton and Jace Richardson, I would have taken Walter Clayton. Size, scoring abilities, a little more consistent, a little more polished.
Florida guy.
A little bit of that. There was they were both very, very close. I would agree with arguments for both. I'm very happy they got Jace. Jace is, I think, a really solid player. So I don't think the Magic lost out at all there.
Yeah, I'm really happy with Jace. He shot pretty good in college, and he can get better. I think he'll develop into a much better player. Especially we don't need him to start. Obviously, he's going to come off the bench, and that's good enough. And then. In free agency, we got Tyus Jones, who me and Philip both predicted. We both predicted it last stream, which was so funny. And we just had a comment about Tyus Jones. He's not going to start. We have Jalen Suggs and other players that are going to start. But him coming off the bench.
Suggs, Bane, Franz, Paolo, Carter. That is your starting lineup. That is not changing.
Starting lineup, unless Wendell Carter gets injured, and then Goga could start. But
when healthy, the
healthy lineup. Yeah, I'm just not the biggest.
We're not assuming injuries yet. It's July. Let's not assume injuries.
No, I don't assume injury, and nor do I ever want injury. But this team,
it's gonna happen. Yeah.
It's happening.
No one starts all 82 games.
So you were talking about Mo Wagner and us, when we were backstage. You were talking about us getting him back. I think that would be great. We need him on this team. He's a really good, he brings a lot of energy. He's an energy guy, So what do you think that they're going to bring? You said that you do think that they're going to bring him back.
Yeah. All indications are that they're going to bring him back. I do think he's a priority for this team. I think they, especially because they've lost a lot of locker room guys. Cole was a big locker room guy. Corey Joseph was a big locker room guy. I think Bane will be fine. I think Dez is going to fit right in with this group. Culturally, I think Tyus Jones is a really nice veteran. They need to kind of keep some continuity in that locker room. This will be the most this Magic team has changed since Jeff Weltman did the trade, since Jeff Weltman did the Vucevic trade.
Yeah.
And so I do think that the Magic want to bring Mo Wagner back. They know how valuable he is to this team. They know what he brings. They know him well. I'm sure they trust that he will be recovering well from the torn ACL. And it's just about money now. It's just about how much is Mo going to cost and what else do the Magic need to do this offseason, because they are now hard capped at the first apron, which is a pretty significant restriction that this team is going to have to deal with. So it's just about money at this point and figuring out the right price to bring him back at.
Yeah, no, I agree. Now, Caleb Houston, we also talked about. Do you think that they bring him back, or do you think that they move on? You did say that they probably will move on, right?
I think all indications and everything that I have heard would suggest that they may not have the roster spot for him. They may not have the money for him. Part of the problem for the Magic right now is they're limited in how much they can spend. Because they use the non-taxpayer MLE, and I don't want to bore everyone with the CBA details, but because of the way that the Magic acquired Tyus Jones, they are hard capped at the first apron. They have about, assuming all the salaries we can assume, they are about $6.7 to $6.8 million from the hard cap. That is all they can spend. They cannot spend more than that on free agents. They still have half of their mid-level exception available. or on their own players, even with bird rights, as some people
Right.
have tried pointing out to me. So they are very, 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 very restricted in what they can do the rest of this offseason. And so it feels like Caleb is going to get squeezed out, and he's just not. They just won't have the ability to bring him back. I think that's a mistake. I think they should be trying to bring him back. I think that he is really important. He had such a strong finish to the season. He shot 40% from three last year. He was at 50% over the last 14, 15 games, like 25 for 50.
I agree.
Like, again, not huge numbers, but when you're the worst 3-point shooting team in the league, giving up good shooters is not a good thing. Giving up your best shooter is not a good thing.
Yeah.
I felt like when Caleb got playing time, and look, he struggled in the playoffs, but during the regular season, when he got playing time, he started figuring things out. And so I do think it would be worth it to bring him back. I just don't know if the Magic can.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I wish they do bring him back. I saw like some promise of him. I saw that he has potential to be decent, at least off the bench. And you always need shooting, So another guy who can shoot threes in the corner is perfectly fine. And there was
Magic's, like the way the Magic are built, like they need good spot up shooters who are going to get the ball and shoot it when Paolo drives, when Franz drives, when Bane drives, when Jalen drives, when Tyus drives, when Jace drives. They need guys that are going to spread the floor and force defenses to respect them. And look, the Magic have more of those guys now. Like Bane is a knockdown shooter. Tyus Jones is a knockdown shooter. Tyus Jones is probably and we said this about Kenny last year, but Tyus Jones is probably the best shooter the Magic have had in a very, very long time. Yeah. Jalen Suggs, before Paolo's injury, was really, really efficient shooting catch and shoot threes. And that went down as he got on the ball more and had more responsibility. They need more guys who are going to be threats from three to create the driving lanes and create the tension in the defense that's necessary to make the defense make choices. That's at the end of the day, that's what offense is in the NBA now, is to make defenses decide what are we willing to give up. Right now, like every team would say, let's just give up threes. Who cares how many threes they take? If they make them, they won't make them 4 times in a 7-game series. That may not be the case anymore. And teams are going to have to decide, well, do we wall up on Paolo? Do we wall up on Franz and give up the 3? Or do we defend the 3 and just hope that Paolo decides to take a lot of mid-range jumpers instead of getting to the basket, getting to the foul line? That's the tension the Magic are trying to create. And they're better suited to do it now. But the more shooters you have, the more insulated you are from variation and things happening.
Yes, exactly. And like you said, we had a lot of like open look threes too that we missed, like a ton. Like the
Magic shot profile was fine last year. Like they got good looks. They were like middle of the league in creating wide open looks. They got good looks. They just couldn't get them.
Banchero, he requires sometimes double teams. So you're going to get those wide open looks.
Paolo Banchero, actually, this is like one of my favorite stats. Paolo Banchero got double teamed. I think it was the 15th most in the league.
Yeah.
He is one of the most double teamed players in the entire league.
Yes.
He has defense's respect. They're worried about him. And part of the reason you could double team him is you did not have to worry about any of the shooting. You take that away. Now all of a sudden Paolo's getting one-on-ones. He's getting easier lanes to the basket. He's going to play a lot more efficiently. And we're going to see a new side to him that I think would be really exciting.
Oh yeah. No, I totally agree. Banchero, he requires a lot of attention. So does Franz. Franz requires a lot of attention. So they're going to have like people like Desmond Bane, like wide open sometimes. And Jace Richardson and Tyus Jones, like these guys can knock down threes, and we needed more of that. My one thing I think is that we need more center depth, but then you said they're bringing back Mo Wagner, so that kind of helps that right there. I'm just not the biggest Wendell fan because he has a lot of like injuries and then he's inconsistent. Not like
he had a bad year.
He had a bad year last year.
But like his defense in the playoffs was awesome. Like Tatum got him a few times, Brown got him a few times, but the Magic would not have been able to execute the defensive plan they had without the way that Wendell Carter played and Wendell holding his own on the perimeter. And I think the Magic have a lot of belief that he had a healthy season for the most part. Last year he was coming off the hand injury and the hand surgery that slowed him down in his preparation for the season. I think the Magic are hopeful that kind of reducing their reliance on him offensively. Like think about it this way too. Yeah. The Magic have 4 20-point scorers in their starting lineup. Like Bane has averaged 20 points per game. Franz has averaged 20 points per game. Paolo's averaged 20 points per game. Jalen Suggs is at 16, 17, 18. He can be a 20 point per game scorer. They don't need Wendell Carter to be a huge scorer. Like if he's at 10, 11, 12 points per game, and I know he's at like 10 last year, he doesn't have to do very much. He just has to make enough shots to keep defenses honest. Everything else, he's just going to be doing what he's really good at already. So I think Wendell's in for a bigger season.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think about Goga Bitadze? Do you think that he will improve and get more minutes? Because I feel like last year he wasn't getting the minutes.
I mean, maybe. Like, look, until Mo Wagner's back, that's Goga's spot. Goga is the backup center until Mo Wagner returns.
Yeah.
I think that he's a luxury and he's going to have to prove that he is better than the third center. I mean, he's already proven that, but he's going to have to prove that he is worth it more for the Magic than Mo Wagner is. Yeah. I don't think he's proven that, to be perfectly honest. I think that Goga can be really good on defense. He can also be really inconsistent. He can also be like too handsy. He can be just shoving guys. Like in the playoffs, he was just shoving guys. It was just like, dude, like, what are you doing?
I think he was just trying to be really aggressive.
Yeah, and I think he was frustrated. He lets his emotions get the better of him sometimes. Offensively, he's still very limited, and because he's not a jump shooter, he's very good working from the high post as a passer and screener. Because he's not a jump shooter, he kind of clogs the lane for Paolo. And so I think the Magic prefer a stretch five or someone who's more of a stretch five, like Wendell should be or can be. Obviously, he wasn't last year.
Wendell needs to be that. Like
Wendell needs to make threes. Like no doubt about it.
Threes. Last year he couldn't
make threes. It was a problem. It was a problem. No. I'm not going to debate that. But like Goga's just too inconsistent right now. Yeah. And if I think he's
one of my favorite players though, because when he gets going, he can be a real.
He should be in a rotation somewhere.
Yeah.
The Magic, he's a luxury to the Magic, and that's why I think he is a prime trade candidate late in the season.
So you think they would trade him and not Wendell? Okay.
Yes. No, Wendell's gonna be really tough to trade. His extension doesn't kick in until next year. So he's $10-11 million player this year. He's 18 next year with 3 years left. It's gonna be hard to trade Wendell.
What was your thought on the Raptors taking Colin Murray Boyles?
I'm just generally confused with what Toronto's trying to do.
I was too with that pick.
Look, Colin Murray Boyles is a glue player. He does all the dirty work. I did not have him on my board for the Magic and kind of rated him low because he's just not a shooter, and he's a 6'7" power forward. And the Magic don't need that, so I didn't prep very much on him. I know a lot of the stat people like him. I know a lot of other teams really like him. Again, he's a glue guy. You need those guys. I don't know what Toronto's trying to do. I don't know what Toronto's trying to build. I like a lot of players on their team, like Brandon. They've got a talented team: Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, Emmanuel Quickly, RJ Barrett. They've got some talent. I just don't see how that pulls all together. How that all pulls together. I don't see they're a playing team at best. I don't know if Colin Murray Boyles helps them get there or not, or I don't know where he fits with that
I agree.
Specifically, but
I did not think it was a good fit for the Raptors.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't seem like he thought it was a good fit either.
He was not happy as well.
CMB's gonna play. He's gonna play well enough. He's gonna earn a spot on the floor because he plays so hard. But I just, it's hard to be 6'7" and not be able to make threes.
Oh, this is something else separate from the Magic that I want to talk about. Damian Lillard got waived today. What do you think is his market? And do you think what team do you think will sign him?
I think some team will sign him, but I honestly think that he's probably not going to be in the league this year.
Yeah.
Just because he's going to miss the entire season with the injury. And if I were a team, I wouldn't commit money to him just to sit on my bench and rehab. And he's not going to take a pay cut. He's not looking to be a minimum guy. Damian Lillard is a star. When he's healthy, he is still a star. And so I think there will be a pretty robust market for him among contending teams, maybe looking at them, maybe trying to get him for the cheap next summer. Maybe some team will grab him this summer or this season and say, hey, we want you in house. You like us. We like you. We'll wait you out. I mean, it's a great opportunity. It can be a great opportunity for Dame. He's obviously coming near the end of his career, and that contract to just become an albatross for Milwaukee, especially with the injury. I think stretching it is still wildly reckless and like, look, they like not reckless. I don't say that. They had to do it to get Miles Turner. They had to do it to preserve their chances of being competitive with Giannis. I'm not sure Miles Turner is the right fit for them, but
I don't know if Miles Turner is the fit for them.
I mean, he's gonna be a more mobile Brook Lopez. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I get that part. They need a lot more. They have no guards. Yeah. They have no one on the perimeter who can score. Like, yeah. So they
don't have guards exactly.
But like Milwaukee needs to be competitive because Giannis could agitate to leave at any moment. So they had like Damian Lillard was the thing keeping them from being competitive while he was out. They did something short term with a lot of short term thinking to be competitive, but now they're like sitting with what is it, like $22 million of dead money for the next 5 years.
Right.
Like that's going to really prevent them from doing much.
I was so surprised.
I was shocked.
Yeah. I was so surprised. And I also was surprised that Miles Turner didn't go. I thought for sure Pacers automatically.
Yeah. It really sounds like Indiana was always afraid of going into the luxury tax.
Yeah.
And the Tyrese Halliburton injury gave them permission or gave them like cover or public cover to say, like, we're not paying the tax for a team that's not competing for a championship. And we're not going to compete for a championship without Tyrese Halliburton. It's disappointing. I don't think that's what the rules were meant to be in place for, but that's what owners are doing now. That's what teams are doing around the league now. They're cutting salary and saying it's just too expensive to keep championship teams together. And that's what the NBA kind of wanted. I don't think they had this in mind when they made these rules.
Do you think Miami takes a chance? Because you talked about how Miami really wanted Lillard, and now they're talking about it still.
I mean,
so is it a possibility that they?
Absolutely. I think there's absolutely a chance that Miami is going to end up with Damian Lillard. Like I said, I don't think that team is going to take that chance now. He's out for the year. He's not coming. Like a torn Achilles is a full year.
Yeah. But they can wait a year. I mean, they're not.
They can wait a year, but like if they have the money now to do it, and it's like a 2-year 5 or whatever it has to be. Like, okay, I don't think Miami has the cap room to do it. Like, no one has cap room to go and sign him to a big contract.
Right.
So I don't know. Like, I don't know what the market's going to be like. I don't know what Dame is actually looking to do with the last few years of his career. I'm just not sure. I'm not signing him until I see him work out and seeing what he looks like. And frankly, like, I don't want to see him just rehab.
Would you be interested for the Magic to do anything with him or no?
Doesn't fit the age range.
I don't want Damian Lillard.
Doesn't fit the defense.
It doesn't fit. I was going to say that.
He's a negative defender.
He's a great shooter, great scorer, but he cannot play defense. And the Magic's whole identity is you got to be able to play some defense.
It's the same thing I said last time I was on here about Anthony Simons. Like, if the Magic wanted Anthony Simons, he'd be here already. The dude like rates out as one of the worst defenders in the league. And look, I was willing to overlook that and say like the offense is just so important.
The offense was really
and like there are numbers that suggest the offense wasn't as good as his raw stats would say, and you have to take that in consideration. I think the Magic clearly did. They didn't want a guy that wasn't going to be able to compete on defense. Like again, like we talk about Jase. Jase is going to compete on defense. He may not be good. Like Cole Anthony was the same way. Cole Anthony wasn't a good defender, but he competed. He tried. He bought in. He did his best.
Mm-hmm.
Dame just isn't there. And at his age, with the pressure you'd be under, you're not winning. Like the Magic don't have the guys to cover. Their defense is everybody working together to make it work.
I'm just happy that the Magic are making changes. I feel like they've been stagnant for too long. And this year they got like Desmond Bane. They got rid of Cole Anthony. They got rid of KCP, which obviously I was happy about because of his really bad season last year. We got Jace Richardson. Like this team has a whole new identity. Like it's still the defensive and all that, but it's got scoring now. It's got Tyus Jones. It's got more depth that I like about it. So I just like that they are making changes. Like I felt like they've been stagnant for too long.
Yeah, I mean they built on continuity.
Yeah,
and
which is good.
I think they took it as far as they were going to take it. Look, last year the Magic were the 7 seed because of injuries. I think we can all agree with that.
They would have been
in the 4, 5, or 6.
Yeah.
They would have been in the fight with Detroit and Milwaukee for 4 and 5, as well as Indiana. But
we own
it. I think they also looked at that series against Boston and said, "This is the team we have to beat to win a championship, and we're not good enough to beat this team. Like we can compete, we can make it hard, but we're not beating this team 4 out of 7 games. And I think the Magic, that decision, that realization or that recognition is what led them to be aggressive this summer.
But it's so funny, like you brought up Indiana, right? Like Indiana next year, they're going to struggle because they don't have Halliburton. They just lost Miles Turner. Like they are losing huge depth pieces. And like Turner was a starter and he was a pretty good player. Like I know he didn't play that good in the finals at that last game or whatever, but overall it's a guy you wanted, like, you know, and I couldn't believe that he left. But I guess he wanted to play with Giannis. But I wonder.
He wanted the money. Indiana didn't give him the money. It's really that simple.
Yeah, I got to give him the money too.
They wanted the money.
Yeah, they wouldn't give him the money as well. So, do you think that Giannis stays, or will he leave eventually at some time?
I mean, I think Giannis is ultimately a loyal guy.
Yeah, he is.
I think that Milwaukee has shown with this move that they're willing to keep spending and they're willing to keep trying to find the right mix. You know, we could say, as shocked as we all were about the Damian Lillard trade, Milwaukee wants to win a championship this year. Damian Lillard ain't helping them win a championship this year. He's actively hurting them because they can't spend that $50 million elsewhere. So they, you know, chopped off $28 million and they spent it on someone that can help them win.
Yeah.
That is, you know, like, give Milwaukee credit. They are not giving up. They're going to sink. If the ship's going to sink, they're going to do everything they can to save it.
I think they should. I honestly think they should trade Giannis at this point. Because the team is not good enough to win. I agree with that. So
at the end of the day, though, when you have a player of that caliber,
I know it's hard.
It's not just that it's hard. It does not take much to be championship good because Giannis is that good.
Yeah.
I agree with Milwaukee's posture of we're not trading him unless he asks to be traded.
Yeah.
Because Milwaukee's not going to get it. It took Milwaukee 50 years to win a championship.
Yeah,
to win their second championship.
Yeah, exactly.
They had Kareem. They had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah, exactly.
Giannis didn't come for 45 years later.
No,
when you're in a market like Milwaukee, you don't know when you're getting a player that good again. You got to milk it for all it's worth. The Magic did the same thing with Dwight. And I think ultimately the Magic should have traded Dwight the moment he asked for a trade. Once he asked for the trade, it's done. It's over. There's no going back.
No, I agree with you there. Giannis is really good, and he could probably go with the East by himself, but it's like he needs guard depth. There's no guard.
They need
depth.
help. Their work is definitely not done. I agree.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're going for it. Like they're not giving up. Like I'm not gonna, you know, like I think if you ask me today to power rank Eastern Conference, do I have Milwaukee in the top 4? No. Do I have them in the playoffs? Probably. Do I have them like 6, 7, 8? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like are they where they want to be? No. But they're closer to where they want to be now than they were.
Do you think it's a possibility that if they're not that good, that Giannis does ask for a trade like the trade deadline and then they move away?
I think so. I think Giannis understands he's coming to the end of his prime and that like his chance to win another championship is closing.
Going down. Yeah, the window is slowly going down, you know. I mean, you want to stay in the East because that's like, you know, where you could dominate the most right now. Unless he goes to like a Western team that's already stacked, you know. But yeah.
I mean, but those are the only teams that are going to trade for him. Like that's the thing you understand. Like the Utah Jazz are not trading for Giannis Antetokounmpo. The New Orleans Pelicans are not trading for Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah. He's going to want to go to a contender.
Yeah. The only teams that are going for him are contenders.
Yeah, for sure. Right. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Giannis this season because it's been but like you said, he's really a loyal guy and he's stuck there all the way around. It's like if he wants to win, though, I think he's going to have to leave. I just don't think Milwaukee's good enough, like right now, unless they can still make moves, but as of right now,
look, you got Giannis, and that's half the battle. Like, I can't stress that enough. Like,
I know, but you know that you need at least 2-3 pieces.
When you're in a playoff series, the saying is often the team that has the best player has a chance to win.
Yeah.
The only series where the Bucks don't have the best player in the series is Oklahoma City and Denver.
Right.
like that's the truth. Like Giannis, you have to account for Giannis and everything he does.
Oh yeah, you too. Yeah. Right. I agree. So what other free agents do you think the Magic that you would like to see that the Magic go after, or like what position or any specific free agents?
Yeah, I think they need some better forward depth. I'd like to see them go after a 3-point shooting small forward. I don't know who that is at this point, just because at this point, the Magic are only working with minimum deals, essentially. And, you're not going to get the cream of the crop. Like, would I like to see them maybe take a swing with Lonnie Walker, who played with Philadelphia and Boston this last year, I believe. I think Lonnie Walker would be an interesting add, just, added competition at that backup small forward spot. You're not going to need a ton of minutes there because you have Bane, Wagner, and Anthony Black to help fill it, along with Tristan da Silva and Jett Howard, if you want. I think some help at that forward position is really, and Penda is probably going to compete for that spot too. I think some competition and some better shooting from the forward position off the bench, right, I think would be really, really valuable for this team. Again, I don't know who that target is, but you're looking at minimum guys, so you're probably going to be waiting a little bit before you attack that.
Yeah, I think Nuggets are doing really good in this free agency.
Denver's had a really nice summer. Yeah, Denver got to Game 7 with Oklahoma City and was like, we can beat this team. And they're doing the things that
they could. They really could. They have a lot of depth now.
Look, they replaced Michael Porter Jr., who was never a great fit for them, with Cam Johnson, who is a perfect fit for them.
That's who I wanted. At one time, I did want Cam Johnson.
Yeah, which, he'd be coming off the bench for Orlando. But he's a starter. Like, he deserves a starter. Yeah. They went out and got Tim Hardaway Jr., which I absolutely love for them. Bruce Brown. Absolutely love bringing him back.
I wish we got Tim Hardaway because he always kills us. He always plays well against the Magic.
He's a great shooter too. Like, the Magic don't have the money. Like, that's the problem right now is the Magic don't have the money for any of these guys. But he would have been great. Like, 100% would have been absolutely great for this team. Great shooter, going to compete on defense. Like, does all the things the Magic need to do and would play the position they need.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. Like, definitely. Yeah, like, so crazy. I can't believe, like,
NBA is a crazy place, man.
NBA is crazy. So many moves are happening. Yesterday, like, I was on Twitter and looking at all this stuff, and it was boom, 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 all this, like, trades happening and people signing and people getting waived. Like, and I never thought Damian Lillard in my life would get waived, like, unless he was, like, really old or something. Like, I understand he's injured, but, like, in a year or so, I think he'll come back. I mean, I don't know. Like, yeah. Like we said, not a fit for the Magic, but just an overall good player, definitely a superstar. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you think that the Magic would trade in the middle of the season?
I think so. Like, it wouldn't, like, some of it would be prepping for the summer. Like, the Magic are going to be probably above the second apron, are going to end up above the second apron next summer. Mm-hmm. They can try and set their books up a little bit better to try and position themselves back under the luxury tax or just slightly above the first apron to give them some more wiggle room before the Paolo contract sets in, before the Dell contract sets in. It's also just that, the Magic are probably going to be sitting in the 3 or the 4 seed, if not the 2 seed when we get to February, and they're going to have a better idea of what their team is and what it needs. And they're going to sit there and say, like, if we want to compete for the championship, which we think we can, this is what we need. Let's go get it. Like there's going to be a lot of short-term thinking to add what's necessary for this team to compete and get deeper in the playoffs. So, again, we don't know what that is. I think the Magic want to keep those assets in reserve for that reason. That's why I don't see a Goga or John Isaac trade. Like, I think a Jett Howard dump might happen or Jett Howard stretch might happen, but
how is Jett Howard still on the team?
First round pick, man. They get guaranteed, 2-year deals with team options on the third and fourth year. Magic picked up that 3rd year option. I don't think they'll pick up the 4th. I've been floating around to people today, like the Magic do what the Bucks did with Dame Lillard and stretch his contract and just be like, we need the cap room more than we need the player.
Honestly, I agree. I think that we need the cap space more than the player. It's just we have a lot of people.
If the Magic stretch Jett Howard, he goes from $5.7 million to 1.8.
Exactly.
And so that gives the Magic like $10 million of room to sign.
That's a mid-level exception type of guy you can get with that almost,
Yeah. And the Magic still have $7 million left on the mid-level exception. So they could spend $6 million of it to bring back Mo and then $4 million of it for another player or $2 million of it for another player and $2 million on another minimum on another guy and be fine. So I think there is an advantage to doing that. It wouldn't shock me if that's ultimately what happens.
Yeah, same here. What would you expect Mo's contract to be coming back?
If I were Mo, I would not accept less than $5 million per year. I would hope
I think he could get that. Yeah.
If I were Mo, I would be looking for 2 for 11, 5 million this year, 6 million next year. And if you can do that, I don't know if you can do that, but I'd be looking for like 2 for 11, 2 for 10 I'll accept a team option on the second year just because I'm injured. You can always give me more money using bird rights next season when you're not hard capped, like understand all that. I think a 1+1, like a team option on the second year is almost guaranteed. I think the Magic would be happy to give him a second year under those conditions.
Yeah.
It's just finding the right number. I don't think he should accept lower than 5. I don't think he should come back on a minimum. I wouldn't come back on a minimum if I were Mo. But the question then is, who else is going to give an injured player who's a bench player, who's really only been successful for one team? Who else is going to give him that security that he's looking for other than the Magic? It's just going to come down to dollars and cents. How much are they willing to, how much is Mo willing to accept based on how much the Magic can pay?
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I was just reading something quick about Caleb Houston. They said that they have his bird right, so they could still sign him if they want.
It's so I get this. I've been getting this question a lot over the last.
It's very confusing. I think it's
so let's do CBA 101 here.
Yeah.
So the NBA has what's called a soft cap.
Yeah.
So there's a salary cap. You're allowed to go over it
if you use and you got to pay luxury tax on.
You got to pay the luxury tax another line, but let's just CBA 101.
Okay.
You're allowed to go over the salary cap as long as you're using an exception. So one of those exceptions is the mid-level exception, which the Magic used to sign Tyus Jones.
Yeah.
Another one of those exceptions is called the bird rights exception. So the bird rights exception was created during like one of the early phases of the collective bargaining agreement when like Red Auerbach complained, like, if we do this salary cap thing, I'm not going to be able to keep Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and Robert Parrish. You need to create some type of way for me to keep my players because I want to keep paying my players. Why should I be penalized for building such a great team? And the NBA agreed. And so they put what's called the bird rights exception, which allows you to re-sign your own players. You're allowed to go over the cap to re-sign your own players.
Yeah.
The new collective bargaining agreement has made it much more confusing, but this is the big one for the Magic. If you use what's called the non-taxpayer mid-level exception, which is up to $14.1 million, if you use more than $5.7 million of that, you are hard capped at the first apron. There are no exceptions to a hard cap.
No exception, yeah.
There are no exceptions. You cannot go above the hard cap when you are hard capped. So because the Magic used $7 million to sign Tyus Jones, the Magic are hard capped at the first apron. Like I mentioned, they are approximately after signing Jones, including Jace Richardson's contract, including Noah Penda's contract, projected numbers.
Yeah.
The Magic are about $6.7 million from the hard cap.
Yeah.
They have $6.7 million to spend on 2 players.
Right.
They can, again, they have about $7 million left of mid-level exception to spend. They can use that to bring in a new player, but they can only spend $6.7 million of it. They can use that to bring back Mo Wagner. They can use that to bring back Caleb Houston, but they can only spend $6.7 million in that first year. They cannot spend more than that in total on anybody. And so that's the tension right now for the Magic is Mo Wagner made $11 million last year. You want to get him back at 5. That's great. Well, now you only have $1.7 million to spend on new players, not two-way players. They don't count. You have $1.7 million to spend on anybody else for the roster the rest of the season.
Yes.
And that's very, very tricky. That makes things very, very tricky for them.
Yeah, things are very tricky now financially for the Magic.
It's a new world. Guys, if all of this is confusing, it is. I learned this stuff in the last 3 months.
I know. I've been reading up on it, and it gets very confusing.
And it gets the trade restrictions get more confusing. We'll worry about those next year. The Magic will be a first apron team this year. They're not a first apron team. We were expecting and anticipating the Magic would operate as a first apron team this year. They're not a first apron team. They're a tax team for the first time, but the tax stuff is for cap nerds like me. For cap nerds, most fans don't need to worry about what the luxury tax is or how much it costs. Just know that
they don't really care.
Money.
Yeah, they don't.
It costs money. That's the only problem is it does. At some point, the Magic are going to look at their tax bill and be like, we're 55 and 27. We're losing in the second round every year. We can't justify paying this tax anymore. We got to reset. And that's going to happen. What Boston did, every great team has to do at some point under these new rules. That's just the bottom line. Every team's going to have to do it.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's a lot of info. Like Karam, that's perfect what you said. It's a lot of info. You got to really look into it. I've
It's a lot. It is a
looked into
lot.
the CBAs and see like what I can figure
It's
out. Even from an
most
accounting perspective.
fans should not have to worry about this.
Yeah.
Most fans should not care about this. The Magic are better today than they were on May 1st. That's
Yes.
all you need to know right now. Their ability to go out and sign players are just they're restricted on it. They can't do as many things as they'd like to do, as maybe as much as fans would like to do. But know that like in 2 or 3 years, we're gonna be talking about a lot of this stuff and being like, the Magic are gonna have to like maybe take a step back because it's just too expensive to do these things, or they want to add players, and the only way they can add players is by subtracting players and doing all this stuff. It's a lot. It's a lot.
So let's just have fun here, right? We're talking about this is early prediction kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Top 6 teams in the East. Go right now.
Cleveland, New York. I think Orlando is going to end up 3rd.
I have them 3rd also. I have Cleveland, New York 3. Yeah.
I think
Magic at 3.
I think it's going to be between Detroit and Atlanta for 4 and 5. I really love Atlanta's summer. I don't want to like
man,
New York, poo Detroit. I actually think Boston's going to be fine. I think it's the 4, 5, 6 is going to be probably. I'll go this: Boston 4, Atlanta 5, Detroit 6. I don't want to dismiss Detroit too much, but I don't think they've had a very good summer. I think they've had a very bad summer, in fact.
I agree that they have not had a great summer, but the one thing they do have is continuity. So it's kind of like they'll stay around that 6.
I mean, I've been warning the host of Locked On Pistons, Kuka Heel, who also does a great job. I love his show. I've been warning him like doing it the second time. Like the first year is awesome. Everybody's having fun. Winning's great. You just love that feeling of newness. That second year is tough. Like doing it again when everybody knows what you're capable of, that gets tough. And I do think Detroit's still going to be good. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I think they take a little bit of a step back, kind of like the Magic did last year. And like I was warning people last year with Orlando. I was like, I was like telling people.
We talked about it last year.
Like I had a lot of national people were like, Orlando's gonna be better. They're gonna win 50 games. They're gonna be better this year. They're over unders 46.5. Take that over. And I was like, look, I think Orlando is a better team this year, but like random things happen. Like last year was kind of like, it wasn't like fluky, but it was like
they got some good last year was stressful because we had 2 injuries.
Exactly.
One to Banchero, one to Franz.
I was telling people like I have the Magic as a better team, but they're going to win 45 games and probably be like the 6th seed. It'll feel like on the standings, it'll look like they took a step back, but I think they're a better team that just isn't going to hit the same marks that they did.
It's hard.
And so like, I was shocked by the injuries, but I wasn't shocked that the Magic looked like they took a little bit of a step back. Like I was expecting that. Now the Magic are like, okay, now we know what we need. We've seen our weaknesses. We've seen us be successful. We've seen us fail. Now we can take this big step, and that's what the Magic did. So I think the Magic still got what they wanted out of last season, honestly, even though they didn't accomplish the goals they wanted to accomplish.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was a season that was a little bit down, but then again, if you look at all the injuries and all the different changes they had to go through, they navigated it pretty well to still get in the playoffs and
to get to 41 and 41.
41 and 41.
Everything they faced.
Yeah, they faced a lot of adversity and a lot of injuries and a lot of different.
Like, let me put it this way: like 18 games, a small sample.
Yeah.
And like it's less than a quarter of the season. It's a little bit less than a quarter of the season. Mm-hmm. They went 12-6 over those last 18 games. That is a 55 win pace. Like the end of the season, the Magic were playing like a 55 win team. Now, granted, they ran into the Boston Celtics. They got their butts kicked. They lost. They played hard. They played well. They saw their shortcomings. They saw they didn't have enough. So I'm not saying that that's set in stone, but we saw when this team was finally healthy, we saw what they were capable of.
Yeah, no, I agree. And if they stay fully healthy, they're gonna be a top 3 team in the East.
I agree with that.
They could finish 1. I'm not saying that anything is possible, you know.
Like anything can happen.
But I have them top.
Remember in 2024, Orlando was the 2 seed entering the last week of the season.
Yeah.
Like the difference is a few games. So like I don't stress over seedings. It's just get the job done, win the most games you can, get to the playoffs. Let's see what happens.
Who do you think is going to be the 6th man for the Magic? And in your opinion?
I think the guy who plays the most minutes off the bench is Anthony Black.
Yes.
I think that, like, as far as the role of sixth man,
yeah.
When Mo's back, it'll be Mo. Like, I think he'll be the highest scorer off the bench when he's back. I think Tyus Jones is going to be that guy. Like, I think he's going to be the guy they trust the most to kind of do things.
Mm-hmm.
Look, people either believe in Anthony Black or they don't. I like him a lot.
I do. I did not like him until last year.
But he's got to be consistent. He's got to be consistent. And it's just like every time I heard players talk, anytime we talk to players about Anthony Black, they'd be like, he's got to be aggressive. We want him to be aggressive. We're urging him to be aggressive. And it's just like the biggest thing holding Anthony Black back right now
is himself.
Is Anthony Black.
Yes,
I agree. To know how good he is.
Yeah.
He's got to know how good he is. And I don't think he does. Like, I think that's like, and I've seen this before. It's just like, I've watched a player that's just like, I don't think he understands how good he is yet. And the moment he does is the moment it's going to click. And AB is the sweetest kid in the world. We all love him as a person. Yeah. He is chill. He still acts like, I mean, he's 20 years old. Like, he still acts like he's 16, 17, just like chilling in the locker room.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, it's time for you to like understand who you are and have some confidence in yourself, carry yourself with some swagger maybe, and be the guy. And hopefully in year 3, we see this leap.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think Anthony Black has a perfect chance. Another guy I like is Tristan da Silva. I think that he showed really.
They're putting a lot on him.
He showed a lot of touches. And last year when he was thrown into the starting role because Franz went down and Banchero went down.
Summer League is going to be huge for Tristan because, look, Jase is going to have the ball in his hands a lot, and Jase is going to be the star, I think, of Summer League. Like, I think he's going to be the one making a lot of decisions. The Magic, I think, in Summer League, and we don't have the Summer League roster yet, but I think the Magic in Summer League are going to make Jace Richardson the point guard and say, okay, you want us to think you're a point guard? Show us. Like, we don't care. Show us.
Yeah.
Tristan needs to have a big Summer League. When the ball's in his hands, he needs to be the man.
And I think he's really talented. His only problem is, and it's very similar to Anthony Black, it's like he doesn't know how good he is, and he gets really frustrated, and he just you can see it in his play.
As a rookie, you expect that.
Yeah.
And so like I always say, for me, Summer League isn't about how well you do. Like, Tristan still had a really good Summer League last year. Summer League, you don't figure out who can play, you figure out who can't.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing that I'd like to see from Summer League, from second-year players especially, is that you own the floor. If you've been on an NBA court before, you own that court. You own that floor. It's just like nothing phases you. You're better than everybody out there. You understand what works, what doesn't. You understand what your role is on the team. I want to see Tristan da Silva own the floor and be like, after one game, be like, I don't need to see any more from him. He's done. Shut him down. Like, we've seen enough. Yeah,
I think he can definitely help this team,
Yeah. No, there's a lot to like. And I'm like, look, the biggest thing I think people don't realize is the Magic have been on their offseason for 2 months now.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys, like Tristan told us that he went back home for a little bit, for a couple weeks, and then came back to Orlando, and he's been in the gym every day since.
Yeah.
The Magic do not make these like free agency decisions in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Like, Caleb has been in Orlando a lot. Obviously he's not with the team anymore now. Like, Jonathan Isaac's been in Orlando a lot. Anthony Black's been in Orlando a lot. Jeff Weltman's office, Jamal Mosley's office overlook the court. They see everybody who's out there, and they're watching, and the coaches are working with them, and they know who's gotten better in the last 2 months. And cannot say like, okay, as we're planning this summer, we think Tristan's taken this leap. We don't need a backup 3. Tristan's got it. Tristan can be.
No, I agree. He's just he surprised me last year for a rookie to have to do what he was able to do at times.
And he hit the wall. He got a little tired. Like, it's normal stuff.
It's normal stuff. He's a rookie, and he showed promise, and then he, like you said, hit the wall. But going back to Caleb Houston for a second, if he doesn't sign back with Orlando, what team do you think would take a chance on him?
I mean, Milwaukee needs guards. Like, I think he's probably landing somewhere on close to a minimum deal. But like, every team needs shooters. He proved that he can be a good shooter. Like, do you want to pencil him in or put him in pen on a rotation spot? No. Do you want to let him compete for one? Absolutely.
I think the Knicks.
Someone will give him a chance. He's going to end up somewhere. He's too young and he's done enough to to make you think he can play it. He can play at this level.
I have the Knicks taking a chance on him, possibly.
Wouldn't shock me.
And the Knicks love our players. Like as soon as they're like free agents, they love
30 teams. All 30 teams would love a Caleb Houston. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
do you remember
it's just money?
You remember Mario Hezonja? Like,
yeah,
Mario. Yeah,
Mario's trying to get back in the league. Like,
really?
He bounced around a little bit after he left the Blazers.
Yeah,
but he's been killing it for Real Madrid. Let me go look up the stats real fast, actually.
Yeah,
he has been killing it for Real Madrid.
I'm just saying, like, I remember, like, as soon as he was gone from Orlando, the Knicks scooped him up.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it's the second draft guy.
Alfred Payton, another guy.
Alfred Payton's available. I would like him now because the Magic filled out their point guard rotation. But
yeah, we got a good point guard rotation now.
Let's see. Mario Hezonja this season for Real Madrid in ACB League, which is the Spanish domestic league. 14.1 points per game, shot 39.9% from three, 4.9 rebounds per game, 47.2% from the floor.
What's shocking? He's only 30 years old.
He's only 30. He's not very old.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Mario's found his niche. Like, can he jump back to the NBA and be successful? I don't know. I don't know. But he's not a kid anymore, but he's talented. Like, he's found his niche. He's had a really nice run with Real Madrid. He's been really good. He's been good in EuroLeague. Like, he's been good.
Who did you want in that draft? Was it Mario Hezonja? I bet not.
Who's in that draft? Let me. I mean, I could go back and grab my mock drafts because I was writing at the time.
I think Devin Booker was in that draft.
I didn't think Devin Booker was good enough. Devin Booker wasn't mocked at that spot.
I know, but like looking at it now, it's like, wow.
I think I was either going for Justice Winslow or I think I was cool with Hezonja.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like there was like,
and then Winslow didn't work out either.
Winslow was a little bit better, but like there was no reason to think Mario Hezonja was going to fail. Like even at his low end, everyone saw him as a great shooter and an athletic player. He just like wasn't ready for the NBA, and the Magic weren't a good environment for him. Like I know Mario has spoken about this. He was starting to figure things out late in his rookie year under Scott Skiles. And Skiles didn't really like him because Hezonja was really immature. He wasn't ready for the league.
Yeah, he thought he was like the best player.
Yeah. I mean, like, and look, guys need a little bit.
He was not mature.
There's nothing wrong with that. But he wasn't like the way he carried himself, the way he went about his business. It's one thing to be confident. It's another thing to be, it's another thing to not put the work in. And I'm not saying he didn't put the work in, but like treat the work seriously and do all that. Skiles was like finally getting through to him, and Mario, I think, has spoken about it, how much he felt that he was starting to figure it out late in his rookie season. And then Skiles resigns. They bring in Frank Vogel. Vogel has different ideas for him, and he just gets lost in the shuffle. And it just didn't work.
Yeah, I think that was also something. Coaching wasn't like,
they
didn't prioritize him like
again,
they should have.
If you look back at that era of Magic basketball, the players the Magic had were not bad. Nikola Vucevic was a 2-time All-Star.
Yes.
Evan Fournier I know people didn't like Evan Fournier for whatever reasons. Evan Fournier
I thought he was good. I mean, he was like 19. He averaged 19 points.
He's fine. Victor Oladipo became an NBA All-Star. Tobias Harris is still playing and contributing meaningful basketball.
Tobias Harris,
a playoff team.
Let me tell you, when we traded Oladipo and Harris, that was when I was mad at the organization.
Yeah, but none of those guys, like Aaron Gordon, same way. Like none of those guys hit their highs with Orlando because the Magic didn't have direction. They had guys playing in the wrong roles. They didn't have good coaching. Like Jacques Vaughn was a babysitter. He wasn't a head coach yet.
Oh my God, he was not good.
He's gotten better. Like Jacques Vaughn is a good coach now. Kansas has got a good one. Like I really like him in that role as assistant coach. He had that great stint with the Brooklyn Nets. He got better. And I remember even saying this to people after the Jacques Vaughn opening press conference. Like, I don't think he's the coach for this Magic team, but he's going to do a lot better in his second job than he does in his first. Like, he's going to learn a lot. He's going to make some mistakes. But like the Magic just didn't have direction. And so they dropped the ball on a lot of this talent that they had on their roster. Yeah, I often say, like, bad teams aren't bad for lack of talent for the most part. Bad teams are bad because they ask that talent to do the wrong things.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I just didn't like how the Magic organization
it was
back then was bad.
They were directionless at that point. Like Rob Hennigan was in over his head. congrats to him for winning a championship, but he was in over his head.
I know Rob Hennigan did make that great move.
But I said the same thing about Rob. Like, I think Rob had some good ideas. He just wasn't ready for the responsibility of that job at that time. And he'll do better in his second job if he ever leaves Oklahoma City.
Yeah, that's true.
He's ready for it now. I am sure if I interviewed Rob Hennigan and asked him, what mistakes did you make in Orlando that you would not repeat this time? Or what did you learn from that Orlando? And he'd probably have a whole list of things.
Oh, he would have a list.
I would point out that everyone would know. And he'd say, I learned my lesson on that. I'm ready.
Isn't it crazy that he just went back to OKC after Orlando? He was just like, oh, this is great.
Presti always takes care of his own, man. Like that, like the whole OKC front office has been there for like 15 years, 15, 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Reich is a really cool name, is what he said. Yeah, no, I like this. I like where we are now.
The Magic are in a good spot.
I like our general manager now. I like our VP of basketball operations. Like, I think the Magic are well built right now. Like, especially what they did this year with getting Bane. Like, I've been dying for a trade or a big name. And Desmond Bane has always been one of my favorite players to watch because he does so much. Like, especially when Ja's out, he took over that team, He actually showed instances where he's better than Ja. And Ja was supposed to be like this superstar, remember? Because he was taken, I think, second overall in the draft or whatever like that. After Zion, I believe he was in that draft, right? Yeah. So, and he doesn't have any character issues like Ja, so we don't have to worry.
He's a hard worker, man. Like, hard worker, pick in the draft, 3-year college player. Like, he had to bust his butt.
Great shooter, which is like exactly what the Magic need.
Doesn't back down from anybody. Like, like he's going to fit in with this team because he is going to talk. Yeah, and Paolo's a talker. Franz is a talker. Jalen's always yapping. Mo's always yapping. Dez is going to yap too. Like they're all going to talk. The Magic are going to be the most annoying team in the league. Everyone's going to hate playing the Magic, and it's going to be great. It's going to be so much fun.
It's the grittiness, it's the defensive style.
Everyone already hates playing the Magic, and it just got worse.
Yeah. Where do you think Masai is going?
I don't know. It wouldn't shock me if he goes back to like NBA Africa, if the NBA puts him in charge of their efforts in Africa, or he becomes like the commissioner of the basketball Africa, of the NBA Africa League, of the basketball Africa League. Wouldn't shock me. He's big on giving back to his home continent, to his home country. Yeah. I forget exactly which country he's from, so I apologize for that. He's very, very big on giving back to that. Some teams got to need a GM.
Were you not surprised that they fired him? I was kind of surprised.
I was a little surprised. But it also kind of felt like they'd spun their wheels out, and it was just like, we need change. Like, we're not, we're not good enough to pay for one of the best GMs in the league anymore. It sounds like Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment is cutting some costs too, and I think that was probably part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. He's Nigerian, so
he's Nigerian. Okay, thank you. I want to first recognize, I understand Africa is not a country. I'm very aware of that. I know that is a very bad canard that happens. Africa is not a country. It is full of many different countries, and many different people. I just forget which country he is from.
I got what you were saying.
And I know he is very involved in all of the NBA's efforts throughout the entire continent. So I just want to make that clear.
Oh yeah. You know what? I was surprised that the Cavs let go of Ty Jerome. Were you not surprised by that?
No. Cavs are a second apron team. They didn't have the money to keep him. The way it works, because Ty Jerome was a free agent that came to Cleveland on a minimum contract,
he wasn't drafted by them.
They're limited in how much they
don't have bird rights or anything.
They didn't have bird rights. They're very limited in what they could offer him, and he was very clearly going to get more than that.
Because he's a shit talker too. He was shit talking to Paolo.
I like what Memphis did, honestly. Coming out part of me is why didn't they just keep Desmond Bane if that's what they were going to do? But I like what Memphis did. I think Memphis recovered from trading Bane and did some really nice things with their offseason.
Yeah, they did. Also, one big thing. When do you think Paolo signs his max contract? This week?
I think it'll happen sooner than later. My understanding is that there was a death in his family, and so it would not shock me if things have been put on hold for that.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
If you looked at his socials, I believe his aunt died. And so there's a lot of in memoriams on his socials right now. So
that makes sense.
Hoping that her memory is a blessing to those in his family. So
Oh yeah, that definitely makes sense. I was wondering what the holdup was.
Yeah,
I had no idea of the person.
I was literally expecting it to be the first thing Shams tweeted at like 6:01 p.m.
Yeah, we were talking about it last week about that happening.
But it sounds like there's a good reason for the delay. It's going to happen. Like, and maybe some of it is I don't think they should dick around with it. Excuse the language there.
Yeah.
I don't think they should mess around with it. They need to get it done. It's a max. Like, don't worry about anything else. Max with super max language. Don't worry about that. It's just, maybe they're negotiating player option. Maybe there's some other things to negotiate, but it'll get done sooner than later.
Yeah. I think it's just, a formality. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. I can't wait to announce the deal. Like when it happened with Franz, I was really excited. I thought Franz deserved it. I want to keep this team with the original core as much as possible. And obviously Bane already has a contract, so we ain't got to worry about that.
They're set. They're set for the next. They got 3 to 4 years to win. Like the window is 3 to 4 years, and then they got to maybe reset for contract reasons, and because Paolo and Franz will become a little bit more expensive after that. But like their window's open. This is the time to go for it. Yeah,
exactly. So I think that's it. I think we talked about pretty much mostly everything I could think of. Like, it was a fun podcast. Thanks for coming on. I always appreciate it. I thought it was a good draft for the Magic. I really liked it. I thought the free agency move was good with Tyus Jones. I can't wait to see if they do pick up one more player. I really hope that they do. Just because having depth, especially with the Magic, is always important.
We'll see. Nothing is official till July 6th, so we got time before we have to worry about things.
Yeah. So, anything you want to say before I end this?
No. Just thanks as always for having me on. Good to bounce around the league a little bit and talk about things.
Yeah, definitely subscribe to Locked On Magic. You got to do that for sure. So his channel link is here. It's in the description and everything. So check out Locked On Magic for Magic News podcast. He did a premiere the other day. I saw what's great. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, thanks for coming on. We're going to end this. See you. Peace out, everybody. Take care. And go Magic.